She clashed with TV host David Letterman on his own show. She called him an asshole right to his face. She wasn't like anyone else, and that's what made her stand out, but not always in a good way. She spoke her mind, dressed how she wanted, and refused to follow the rules, which led many in the industry to label her as difficult and annoying. Her confidence and sharp humor were often misunderstood, and she earned a reputation as someone who was too much to handle. Now, to understand the whole story, we must go back to where it all started. Original name Sherilyn Sarkisian, a shy, self-conscious girl from El Centro, California. Born in 1946, her childhood was anything but normal. Her father was mostly absent, and her mother, a struggling actress and model, moved the family constantly, leaving young Cher feeling like an outsider. To make things worse, she had undiagnosed dyslexia, which made school a nightmare, and keeping up with her classmates was hard. Teachers thought she wasn't trying, and Cher started to believe she wasn't smart enough. She often felt out of place, wearing secondhand clothes and dreaming of a world far beyond her reach. At home, things weren't much better. Money was always tight, and her mother's string of relationships often brought more chaos than stability. Her mother encouraged Cher to dream big, but dreaming felt impossible when they could barely afford to get by. Cher's self-esteem took a hit, and for much of her childhood, she felt awkward and out of place. In the 1950s, she didn't look like the typical all-American girl. Her dark hair, a result of her Armenian heritage, made her feel different, and she didn't see them as beautiful yet. Kids teased her for the way she looked and for standing out, which made her feel like she didn't belong. But there was one thing that brought her joy: music and movies. She loved watching stars like Audrey Hepburn and Elvis Presley and dreamed of having a glamorous, exciting life like theirs. Even though she didn't always feel confident, a part of her believed she was meant for something bigger. But then she did something daring. At 16, Cher dropped out of school and moved to Los Angeles with nothing but a dream of stardom. That's where she met Sonny Bono, a songwriter and producer who was nearly 12 years older. He saw something in her that others had overlooked: a raw, undeniable talent and charisma. Together, they formed a partnership that would change both their lives. Their big break came in 1965 with I Got You Babe, a duet that became an instant classic. Suddenly, Sonny and Cher were everywhere. But their success wasn't just about music, it was about rebellion. In a time when traditional values dominated, Cher's unique style, from her daring outfits to her straight-talking personality, was a cultural shock. She wasn't afraid to show skin, wear wild wigs, or challenge the norms of femininity. However, fame wasn't all glitter and gold. Critics dismissed them as a novelty act, and their popularity started to wane by the late 60s. But instead of fading into obscurity, Cher pivoted. She found success on television with the Sonny and Cher Comedy Hour, where her sharp wit and quick comebacks stole the spotlight. For many, she wasn't just a singer anymore. She was a personality who could hold an audience in the palm of her hand. This was just the beginning. Cher was starting to prove that she wasn't a one-hit wonder or just Sonny's sidekick. She was something bigger, something the world hadn't seen before. But as her star began to rise, so did the challenges that would test her resilience. Cher's rise to fame wasn't without its battles. Behind the glamorous image and growing popularity, her personal life was anything but perfect. Her marriage to Sonny Bono, the man who had launched her career, was unraveling. Sonny was controlling, both personally and professionally. He managed nearly every aspect of their lives, from their finances to Cher's image, and left her feeling trapped. By the early 70s, she had had enough. Their personal struggles led to their divorce in 1975, shocking fans and marking the end of one of pop culture's most famous duos. But the split came with a steep price. Financially, Cher was left with almost nothing. Sonny had kept most of their earnings, and Cher had to take on a massive amount of debt just to escape their business agreements. She was effectively starting over, but she wasn't ready to back down. Professionally, things weren't as perfect as they seemed. The music industry, dominated by men, wasn't interested in a solo Cher. Critics dismissed her, saying she was only relevant because of Sonny. She struggled to land hits and faced rejection after rejection. But then, Cher did what she does best. She reinvented herself and she proved them wrong. In the 1970s, she released solo hits like Gypsies, Tramps and Thieves, Half-Breed, and Dark Lady. These songs weren't just popular, they told powerful stories and showed her one-of-a-kind voice. Cher was already proving she could stand out on her own. But then, in the 1980s, she changed her sound again, this time leaning into rock music. Songs like If I Could Turn Back Time and I Found Someone brought her back to the top of the charts. She showed everyone that she could adapt to new styles while staying true to herself. Then, in the late 90s, Cher surprised the world with Believe. This song wasn't just a hit, it changed pop music forever. Using auto-tune in a creative way, the song became a worldwide sensation and earned her a Grammy. It reminded everyone that Cher wasn't just keeping up, she was leading the way. Even as music styles kept changing, Cher stayed relevant. Songs like Strong Enough and Woman's World proved she could still create hits decades into her career. Cher didn't just make hit songs, she made music that defined entire eras. Whether it was pop, rock, or dance, she mastered every genre and showed the world why she's one of the greatest artists of all time. But then, Cher was also going into acting. She proved that being a pop star didn't limit her talent. While many doubted she could make the transition to acting, Cher silenced critics with one incredible performance after another. Her big break in movies came in 1983 with Silkwood, where she starred alongside Meryl Streep. In the film, she played a factory worker, giving a raw and emotional performance that earned her an Oscar nomination. It was a turning point, showing that Cher had serious acting skills. In 1985, she starred in Mask, where she played a tough yet loving mother raising a son with a rare facial condition. The role showcased her ability to connect with audiences on a deep emotional level, winning her even more respect as an actress. But her career-defining moment came in 1987 with Moonstruck. Playing Loretta Castorini, a widowed woman navigating a surprising love story, Cher brought humor, heart, and charm to the role. Her performance was so incredible that it earned her the Academy Award for Best Actress. Cher didn't stop there. She took on a variety of roles in movies like The Witches of Eastwick, where she starred alongside Jack Nicholson, and Mermaids, where she played an eccentric mother. Each role showed her versatility and ability to handle both drama and comedy. Now, in January 2025, Cher remains an active and influential figure in the entertainment industry. In October 2023, she released her first holiday album, Christmas, featuring collaborations with artists like Stevie Wonder, Darlene Love, Michael Bublé, Tyga, and Cyndi Lauper, extending Cher's record as the only solo artist with Billboard #1 singles in 7 consecutive decades. In November 2024, Cher published Cher, the memoir, Part 1, the first installment of her 2-part autobiography covering her childhood, early career, and marriages. The memoir debuted at #1 on the New York Times bestseller list, holding the position for 3 weeks. The second part is scheduled for release later in 2025. To celebrate her 6-decade-long music career, Cher released a greatest hits album titled Forever in September 2024. The album is available in a 21-track standard edition and a 40-track digital edition called Forever Fan, which includes both her solo hits and songs from her time with Sonny and Cher. In October 2024, Cher was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, becoming the first musician-actor to win an Academy Award for acting and join the Hall of Fame. At the induction ceremony, she performed If I Could Turn Back Time and Believe, the latter as a duet with Dua Lipa. Beyond her artistic endeavors, Cher continues her philanthropic work through the Cher Charitable Foundation, focusing on combating poverty, advancing medical research, and supporting the rights of vulnerable groups such as veterans and children. At 78, Cher still shows her strength. Cher's journey from a shy, awkward girl with big dreams to the queen of pop is nothing short of extraordinary. She faced poverty, rejection, and relentless criticism, yet she never gave up. Each challenge became an opportunity to reinvent herself, proving time and again that resilience and authenticity can outshine even the harshest critics.